There? If anybody's there and if they can hear me, please wag your tail. If you can hear me, please wag your tail. That way I know that the audio is good. Can you wag your tail, please? Ah, you can hear me? All right, cool, cool. Let me double check. Check one. Check. Can you hear me, brother? Can you hear me? I can't tell if I can be heard. Check one. Check two. Can you hear me? Ah, nice. All right. Finally, hopefully, I can be heard. We're good. What about the sound in the background, the music? I hope you can't hear it too loud. Hopefully it's good. That way it's a good mix. But good morning, y'all. Good evening. Good afternoon. Today we're going to get a little intimate. For me, it is what? 12:21 mirror. Brother, you created that. What's up, Martin? How you doing? 12:21 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, December the 5th, 2019. All right, so in case you guys don't know, you haven't met Jackie Jack right here. He's like, leave me alone, dude. I'm trying to nap. Why you gotta look at me like that, bro? Oh, yeah, okay, you want a snack? Is that what it is? By the way, check it out. There's some Mexican salsa here, all right, with some sweet potato chip. Did I just use like a Boston accent? Sweet potato? Never mind. Anyways, so some Mexican salsa here with some sweet potato chips. Man, they're so good. Hopefully you guys can hear that. That probably doesn't sound good. Anyways, so if any of you read what I wrote on there, if anybody has any questions, please, let's just get intimate with that in mind. It's about vibration. It's about sound. It's about music. It's about magnetism being in everything. It's about magnetism being in my gaze to yours as a greeting. Let's put our foreheads together like the Maori do, all right? And then just do the transference. Thank you. Okay, so where to get started at? Magnetism. You must understand that, first of all, we are electromagnetic beings. The mind is electric. Well, it's kind of both, but it's more electric. All right. And the heart is more electromagnetic, but it has more magnetism. But it's actually a lot more powerful electrically wise than the brain is, believe it or not. The heart has its own little heart. The heart has its own little brain, believe that or not. The more you believe it, the more limitless you will be. And this is no BS. Just like they say, the gut is a second brain. How is that possible? Wrap your brain around that. You know, they say that, what is it? That I'm not even going to get into that. But we do know that there is the likings of the universe. The makings of the universe is within man. Leonardo da Vinci, look that up. Amazing man. I mean, he studied nature and he got all his inventions, and think about that. Here we go. Oh my goodness, now I see where this is going. And Martin Nico, if you're still watching, I remember you went to his house or something like that. That was amazing. And you sent me that picture from his house. That was pretty cool. Anyways, where was I going? So he studied nature a lot. Okay, he was actually born into nobility, but his father was a nobleman, but he had Leonardo da Vinci at a wedlock, so he couldn't be honored. He was treated like a peasant, so he couldn't be accepted to the universities like he would have been if he was full non-peasant or if he was full noble. Okay, so what he did was, instead of wasting his time, okay, he went into nature and studied nature, believe it or not. Little boy vegan over here, who many people believe he's from Venus. There goes the V's, the V's, the V's. Goodness gracious, vibration, goodness. Okay, let's see where we're at. I'm in the wrong place. Where am I? So, magnetism. Jeez. Okay, so he went into nature, okay, and he studied nature, and he found that nature is actually chaotic. And if you embrace that, you will be less shocked by nature and its occurrences, whether it's manipulated or not. Oops, did I just say that? Yeah, I did. Sometimes it is. But believe it or not, sometimes even we can do it. I swear. Have you heard of rain dancing? I know you might think that's a joke and this and that. Get out of here, Mr. Nitzaya. What are you talking about? I'm telling you, it is real. %50 of the time it works all the time, I swear. It took me a while to do that one, but I was getting the download, sorry. So, what I was getting at was, Mr. Leonardo da Vinci studied nature, and think about this. Almost all, he had to go towards the means of creating war-like contraptions and mechanisms, okay? Because it's just the way nature was. It turned out that the nature of man is what turned everything chaotic. It has nothing to do with the love of money. It's the nature in man that loves money and what he'll do for it. That's the insanity that creeps in when you allow it. Like, you must have, here we go again, the war, the warrior. Again, we all were fighting since conception. Remember, we're going to the egg. Before we go into the egg, we're fighting our brothers and sisters, all right? We're fighting our brothers and sisters to get to the egg. Once we get to the egg, we fight. Once we go win, and the egg seals, look it up, my brothers and sisters. Once it seals, there is an actual literal spark of light. I swear to you, look it up. It is a scientific, medical proven fact that once the egg is sealed and the seal is deal, I think I said that right. No, the deal is sealed. There you go. There's a spark of light. So, magnetism, there you go. We're magnetized to the egg. We're fighting towards the egg as a child before we even become a child. So, once we're in the egg, we still have to fight to what? Evolve out of that Fibonacci spiral. Whoa! First we start as in centripetal, then we go centrifugal. Ow! But that's the point. We have to come back in. Just like the Bible says, Jesus of Nazareth. In order to enter the kingdom of heaven, we must become as children. That doesn't mean function like a child. No. That means perceive like a child. Where am I? Jeez, I'm sorry, I'm not even addressing you over here. I'm not even having, I am having fun. That's the thing. It's not good. Am I not live or what? Am I imagining things over here? Jeez, does anybody have any questions while I try to figure this out? This is, I'm working on the system. I'm like calibrating everything. So let's see what we got. Let's see what we got over here. Yes, I was guided there. It was awesome. Yeah. Thank you, brother. Nice. Okay. Yeah. Cool. So, where was I? Take a jacket. You want to wear the hat? No? Okay. All right. So, anybody wants to get intimate with what I wrote on those two quotes? If you don't like that first one from the 30-degree Mason, Freemason, a positive one, just like the Orion faction, got tired of the darkness and created the warriors of light, the first ones. All right, converting darkness to light. That's what Manly P. Hall is. Not all Freemasons are bad, but anyhow, let's skip that and go to the art of war. Anybody want to dabble with the art of war to understand that a little better? And how you can apply that to your everyday, practical, day-to-day living. It's actually a lot more easy. A lot more easier, even though that's not good grammar. Here we go. Going with the flow. Okay, so right there. Activations without hesitations. Let's see. We'll come back to this in a bit. So back to the embracing the warrior spirit. Magnetism. So like I was saying, we're warriors since before we were even born. Okay, must not be afraid of the word warrior when it comes to your next of kin or your loved one in front of you that is willing to fight for your freedom. And I'm not just referring to soldiers and veterans. Okay, look at the Maori warriors. Are you kidding me? Most of you, if you see them, when you see them doing their haka and they're doing all this, just fucking going crazy like this, because why? They're protectors of Mother Gaia Earth, and they have to look fierce to those that are coming to pillage the earth. Do you have a different perspective of that now? All right, you have to see beyond face value, like the face that they make to scare the enemies of Mother Gaia Earth. We must understand the savagery, revolutionaries, they're all guided by strong feelings of love. That's the technicality of it. That's why there is no right, there is no wrong. There's only interpretation involved. If you have no control over it, why are you going to stress over that and become the bad type of warrior? WORRIER. I hope I spelled that right. Oh my goodness. All right. But we must become the true benevolent. WARRIOR of love and light. Whether you're a man or a woman, feminine or masculine, you should be both in the sense of having masculine and feminine energies intertwined into one powerful, balanced being. So, why can't I see my live video? I don't know. All right, let's see. Jeez, man, where is it? I know you guys can hear me, but I was hoping I can read your questions from here. You see what I'm saying? I'm calibrating. Let's see if we have any questions. If not, I'm just gonna play around like a kid. No questions. Oh, there we go. The warrior of light. All right, so it seems like no one has any questions, so I'm just gonna keep on. Oh, that's the reason why. All right, so I guess no one has questions, so let's just get a little silly. No one wants to. Everybody's afraid. Look at that. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. I mean, even if you're picking in here for a minute and a half. No questions. All right, so I'm just gonna chill here. I know this is not wacky tobacco. Okay, it's just plain tobacco. Not like the cigarette tobacco. I guess it can still give you cancer eventually, but it's natural, just straight tobacco. So I got this hookah from Iraq, believe it or not. You can kind of see it. Okay, so let's see. One thing, believe it or not, eventually, you guys may think I'm crazy, silly, whatever. You see these things right here? I teach you guys how to use. I'm gonna do some of these. I know you're like, what the hell are you guys talking about? Well, for you guys that have fireplaces, we're gonna need these a lot more from this point on. You'll see a lot more colder winters for a little while, just for a little while. So these are gonna cost a lot of money, trust me. And I'm gonna teach you guys how to use these, make these out of your leaves that fall in the fall, in the autumn. All right, so anyways, I'm gonna turn this on and then we'll discuss why I have a bottle of bourbon over there. I really don't drink much. That's another thing I want to discuss for hopefully some gentlemen will be watching this, and then that way I can give them some ideas on how to empower their body properly in the sense of beyond the physical, obviously. All right. Jackie, can you keep them entertained? Yeah? So, you probably can't see my face right now, which doesn't matter. But, so let's go to the Sun Tzu quote. What is it? There's no more than 5 musical notes, but a combination of all makes an innumerable amounts of tones or melodies, something like that. What do you think that means? Anybody has an idea? Notice how they use a specific number because there's actually more than 5, not just 5. Okay, so why would they use the number 5? How many digits do we have? Overall, how many extremities do we have? Remember Leonardo da Vinci, the Vitruvian Man? There's a lot of secrets hidden in that simple sketch. That's where I found the Merkaba before it was even mainstream, many years ago. I started studying Tesla since the age of 17. I'm not trying to brag here. I'm just trying to let you know that I might know something or two about energy that I've been trying to expose you guys to so that you guys can find the, wow, I was going to say the real rhythm of battle, but be able to summon comfort within the real rhythm of battle in order for you to preserve your sanity for 1 and your body for 2, then your emotional state, then your mental state, then your spiritual state, then your metaphysical state. And there's many more beyond that, space and time. You can work through that. But that's the thing, you guys want to be complacent. I don't understand. Very soon, I think I turned this on wrong. Was it? No, yeah, that's right. Ah, yeah. Go. Okay, so one of those logs costs like $7. Yeah, like $7 each one. Okay, and if you don't have any wood outside, guess what? $7 just for 4 hours of heat. But anyhow, so back to the non-lecture at hand. So bourbon, that's one of my, so like I said, we're going to get intimate. If you guys don't have any questions, and it doesn't seem like anybody has any questions, so we're just going to keep hanging out. I prefer to drink Four Rose bourbon. It's a very non-typical bourbon, but I don't, like I said, I don't drink it much. This is obviously my first one of this year, but last year I only had like 3 of these. That's it, 3. I probably drank a 24 pack throughout the year, if that, and I didn't even finish most of the beers. It was just to kind of entertain my cousins, my brothers, or whoever that they were drinking. But I did have some wine. I would say at least 3,622 ounces of it. No, I'm just kidding. That's way too much, man. Way too much. Although they say it's actually healthy for you because it's antioxidant and many other things. But so, and melatonin, believe it or not, most people don't know this. But I probably had about, I'd say, total, about, in my intake, about 6 bottles in the whole year. Because that's one thing, so low alcohol content. The main one, most of you men won't be able to comprehend. Being celibate. By choice. I was only sexually intimate 3 times. The whole entire year, by choice. Why? Because, for one, the temple, you have to save the seed. I know most of you are like, wait, what are you talking about, dude? What do you mean save the seed? It'll take like 3 days just to explain what I mean by that. And the benefits it'll do. But anyways, back to the lecture of non-lecture at hand. I like to have pineapple juice straight. And this is the chaser. Sorry, the bourbon is the chaser. Believe it or not. So I take a shot. There we go. And then a sip. There's no need to just drink and drink and drink and get inebriated. So once again, sweet potato chips, the Mexican salsa. And Jackie Jack wants some. There we go, buddy. All right, so coming up here next week, I'm going to be going live more often for like workouts. If you guys want to follow along, some of them are going to be fun. Some of them are going to be silly. So, I mean, you can have your kids. Like, literally, I have a Spider-Man suit. Like, trust me, like, I can care less what people think. I just want to show joy as we're getting empowered from the inside out. Because we must tap into that warrior spirit, man. We have to. What if your neighbor, your family needs assistance and you're stuck in the fight or fight mode? It's going to be very difficult to react properly at the right time if your warrior spirit is not enlightened enough, but empowered enough. And believe it or not, the key is through empowering the warrior spirit, you have to do it through entering the child state of mind. I swear. Not the child state of mind, but the child state of being. That's the whole point. If you want to enter the kingdom of heaven, you must become as a child. Perceive as a child, not function as a child. There's nothing wrong with functioning like a child, but if you're not a child and you're functioning like a child, there's a problem. But if you're not a child and you're perceiving like a child, there's not much wrong because no one's getting hurt. And you're perceiving like a child, which means what? Unconditionally loving, no judging, no judgment of self, of others, or in between. Suffering and adversity. Yeah, adversity. Am I saying that right? Adversity. Yeah. Suffering and adversity are the best teachers, believe it or not. I swear, you cannot expand in the game of life if you have not suffered in one shape or form. So, for instance, something that's not simple, I shouldn't say that. I don't know why I even thought about saying. I'm not even going to finish that. I'm going to hide it in there and come back in a little bit. But where was I? Suffering. That would be something that's very uncommon that most won't even think, but a lot actually go through. Okay, something as simple as the loss of a pet. Simple, right? Some of you might be around the age of like 17 to 22 or so, and you had a puppy since when you were about 5 or so, and throughout your entire life up until then, you had that dog, and then you lose it. Now that could be traumatizing right there, in a sense. Emotionally, mentally, eventually hitting spiritually, whether the kid or teenager or young adult is spiritual or not. Doesn't matter if you're spiritual or not. We all have a spiritual sense of self. And we cannot bypass it. And you have to get into the mental state as well. So you have, that's what I'm trying to help others understand psychology. Not just psychology, but the psyche of an athlete, the psyche of a warrior. I mean, all of them. I'm just saying, the psyche of a child, stuff like that. Because with all that in mind, again, triangulation. That's where triangulation comes. You can't base life just from your interpretation alone, because that's arrogance if that's what you're basing life off on. Because us, no matter who you are, us just as individuals, we're very limited in experience, no matter what level we may think we may be. But if we triangulate by vicariously living through quotes, through other legends, attributes, stuff like that, guess what? We embrace it and we become that. And therefore, we're a lot more limitless through being somewhat careless, in the sense of not caring so much about self, in the sense of me. It should be us. There is no me, because us is me, and me is them. When you turn me into upside down, you flip it upside down, as above, so below. Me turns into we, and that's where, from next week pointing on Wednesdays, is going to be Wow Wednesdays. warriors of wonder, because warriors of wonder, shocking. Children are always in wonder, in a shocking state, like, whoa, look at that. What is that? What is that? You know, they're always curious. And that's hence, in order to enter the kingdom of heaven, we must become as children. So, wow, W-O-L, W-O-W, warriors of wonder, through that shock, we're going to flip that upside down and it'll become mom, M-O-M, because we need the motherly figure, feminine, in order to become, what was the significance? I forgot it. I wrote it down though. I wrote it down. It's a good one too. It's gonna make sense. You're gonna be like, "Whoa, wow, it's interesting. What was it?" So, wow is a shock. Mom is the feminine, to change it to wow, words of wonder. Oh man, I forgot it. Actually, I'll check it right now. Might as well. No one's even watching. Might as well just check it now. Check it now. Check it now. Let's see. Where was it? Where was it? Oh, there it is. Mind over madness. So, in order to get over the madness, okay, you gotta become a warrior of wonder. Just like children, they're always wondering. That's how they expand so quick. That's how they send so many positive vibes. There it is, vibration again, magnetism. Just like the quote of Manly P. Hall, where everything is magnetism. Shapes, music, sounds, words, letters, everything. Even thoughts. So there it goes to show you that thoughts can be used to your advantage to electromagnetically manipulate the energy around you to assist others in healing. You shouldn't be afraid of this. It's simple. We are electromagnetic beings. And if we concentrate enough without even knowing what to do, if you're just willing and you listen a few times to a certain obvious video, or you read, but you apply it into practical terms, you'll come to find out that wow, WOW, it really works. And then you become what was the word? Something of madness. I forgot it again. Jeez. What's wrong with me? Mind over madness. It's the only way you're going to have mind over madness, okay? By embracing both the warrior spirit and the inner child. Okay? From there, all right, the feminists will be like, hey, what are you guys doing over there? And then you'll be a balanced being. All right? The feminine, the masculine, and the inner child. Having a balance, that's another trinity right there in itself. Aside from the conscious states, which is conscious right now, unconscious, which is me doing this. That's an unconscious state sometimes. I just, most people, I don't know, they twirl their hair. That's an unconscious reaction. And then we have the subconscious, which is continually recording and listening, whether you're faded, whether you're drunk or not, whether you're in the flow state, meaning dancing with your child or dancing with a loved one, and you're just out in la la land in a sense, but that is healing time right there. That is getting into the child state. That's the child state of being, which is how you're going to perceive the fifth dimension. Don't be afraid of that, people. That's what technically you'll be able to perceive heaven in the flesh. We don't go somewhere else when you are able to perceive these other dimensions. The only one you technically can't perceive is the fourth dimension. That's the one that's beyond space and time. But aside from that, there's no need to dissect all this too much. As long as you don't fall into fear, and if it resonates in any shape or form, you need to just look into it or ask somebody that's kind of in a different level. You're like, hey, have you heard of this thing? And then when they're like, hey, yeah, what are you talking about? Can we talk a little more? And then see where it goes. See where that conversation goes. That way you don't take it from this monkey. Because people misinterpret my unconditional kindness. Ever since the age of what, about 27, 28, when I worked with this millionaire Chinese investor, he taught me one thing, and this is a wise old Chinese man that was a millionaire that wrote book. Oh, get this! I'll tell you a quick little story about him. He started the first one of the first moving production companies in China. All right, back in the late 60s, early 70s. Then the government tried to come and say, hey, you cannot put this in your movies. You must put this, and that. So propaganda. It's always been around. So he said, and he was only 19 when he did that. So he was this young buck, and he's like, what? Nah, he just sold it. So he sold the company for several million back then. So he went back to school at 20, okay, as a millionaire. What did he do? He studied business, international business, and he wrote a book. And to this day, I'm pretty. The last I talked to him was almost a decade ago. To that day, for sure, which most likely is still there, is the #1 book of international business. Okay, so this gentleman told me that a good leader should have 3 attributes, 3 aspects, honed in. Which one is to be kind? The other one is to be fair. The other one is to be advanced. And and he was referring to like a strategic leader, okay? Kind, fair, and advanced. And I guarantee you, Sun Tzu would say yes. Because come on now, for one, that's where you got it from. It was a Chinese man from China, okay? Which, if you guys don't know, man, not any elder, but a lot of elders that are very wise and have businesses, and especially tyrants and all that from all walks of life, from different places, all have read The Art of War, back and front and back, like you and I have read the Bible, or maybe not, who knows. But a lot of us have read the Bible a lot, okay? We use that as wisdom as well. But The Art of War is not about war, even though that's what it was written about. I know that doesn't make sense, but as above, so below, as inside, so outside. This is not meant to confuse you. This is meant for you to be in wonder, like, what the hell is this monkey talking about? Bye-bye, go to sleep, and then in the morning you wake up, like, man, I had a weird dream that reminded me about a spiral, and he talked about Fibonacci's thing, and I don't know what it was, and I looked it up, and it was a spiral, and I was like, well, I want to talk to him some more. So, anyhow, I'm just blabbing away over here, and maybe you can't even hear me. I don't know. Who knows? But I hope you guys take the time to dissect what I've said throughout. And I guarantee you, man, eventually, you'll be like, what the hell? That guy was. And please don't take me as arrogant. I'm just letting you know I've read a lot of books on energy. Look up. Who should I? I mean, you should start off with Nikola Tesla, because he's becoming, he's mainstream now. People are like, oh yeah, Nikola Tesla, what the? But Mr. Russell, you know what? I don't want to confuse you guys. Let's just stick with I don't know. It seems like just trying to revive, that's all. I'm your reviver for today, rehabilitating every vessel internally via emotions, by resonance, meaning sound, vibration. Intention, visualization, because shapes everything, holds magnetism. What is the shape of a smile? What is the shape of an eye? Okay, circle, yeah, that's the iris. But what is the overall shape? Almond shape, what is that? So, in case you don't know, look at the Vitruvian Man. It clearly shows a circle. It clearly shows a square. But all works of art, masterpiece, blatantly have square, circle, triangle. You will not see a square, circle, triangle like Picasso did. He's like, forget this, man. I'm going to show the shapes right there and then. If they don't understand it, F off, man. That's their problem. But that's why Picasso was like the actual shapes and this and that. And you can see like an actual circle and the guy's weird cheek over here, like a triangle and stuff. And then a rectangle as his teeth. But anyways, it's not blatantly like that. But say, for instance, there's like a sun with rays of light. So the sun is a circle, rays of light coming down. So that's a triangle. Overall, you will see like, I don't know, what is known as Sagittarius, which is sometimes is depicted on a chariot. The chariot can have the circle as well. It has the triangles and the spokes. And the chariot is a square. So, and you'll just see it, stuff like that, like when you follow your eye line, the eyesight of where the shape of the roof goes, stuff like that, all right? But the Vitruvian Man only has a circle and the square blatantly there. But that is showing you that the triangle is between that. Okay, the circle is one shape, one. Okay, the triangle is not two. The triangle is three. 1, 2, 3, right? But the triangle is hidden in between the two dimensions. So we should see the circle. Why is it that we can see the square? The triangle is in behind the circle, in between the square. I know all this might sound crazy to you, but eventually you'll be like, oh, I see where he's getting the planes of existences: mental, spiritual, emotional, warrior spirit, inner child, feminine, masculine. These are planes of existences we can tap into and become way more limitless and heal without even being next to the person. So, what is a square? 4. So, circle 1, triangle 3, square 4. What happened to number 2? How come we never see the number 2? Those are the basic shapes: circle, triangle, square. But the number 2 shape is 1, 2, 2 arcs. The Vesica Pisces is so important. And sorry to be so graphic for some of you, but what is that? That's the Vesica Pisces, but so what does that resemble? Okay, is the feminine aspect. Why did they put it away? Why did they hide the second most important basic shape? I mean, our eyes are in the shape of an almond, just like an almond is in the shape of our eye, or vice versa, however you want to put it. A leaf is the shape of a overall Vesica Pisces. So in the Vitruvian Man, which was one of which is the most popular masterpiece of Leonardo da Vinci, which is not even a masterpiece, it's just a simple sketch. But the way he made it, it became a masterpiece because there's so much esoteric knowledge hidden within that. There's so many more details that most of you won't even be able to understand. And that's not to sound condescending, that's not to insult you, it's just there's so many levels of existences, my brothers and sisters. And we haven't had the time to look into that. I did, because I was not normal. I sacrificed my time. Like I said, I've been celibate for most of my life. Just like most priests and monks should be. That's a prerequisite. Celibate, why? Because there's less distractions and you can devote your time to God and service to others. Some of you might not see that, but trust me, wait till you see what's coming. The detoxification kits I have and all this, I mean, this is not something that you just take notes and you just, and then put it together in 3 months. No. I've been formulating for decades, perfecting these formulas. All right, pretty soon I'm going to expose to you. Not to brag, not to show off, but what my midsection looks like. Even though I don't work out much, and I haven't done a single sit-up or ab crunch since 2006. I have a 10-pack, and it's not about me. I'm just letting you know how these detoxification kits work. Okay, if I wasn't so tired, I've been up since 3 in the morning past, because I'm in a whole different schedule than most are. I don't go by 24 hours. I go by, it changed now. It used to be 36 hours was my day cycle. Believe it or not. And usually I can only sleep for 4 hours. That has been my schedule since about the age of 7 or 8. Around 8, I found the Book of Fire Rings by Miyamoto Musashi, another strategist to learn from nature. And I was like, whoa, blown away as a little 8-year-old. I was like, that was half of the time I wasn't going out. I was like reading books. I was a weird kid. Anyways, it's not about me. I'm just trying to let you know that if I can do it, you can do it. You don't have to spend all the time I did, because you can just vicariously pick up where I picked off. Yeah, and I said that right, because that's what I did. I picked up off of so many other legends, to include physical loved ones in my family. I'm like, hey, I don't know anything, so I don't know much. So I was like, forget about this monkey-looking guy. I'm going to think like my father, even though sometimes he wasn't around. Even my mother, even though she wasn't around because she was too busy working. But I was like, man, what will my mother do at this moment? Like, for instance, when a friend will come, a girlfriend, no, not my girlfriend as in we're going steady, as a friend that is a girl, or because it was a girl, we were young. Before even teenagers, yeah, young teens, and they would come and they would tell me about when they were molested or raped, and I'm like, how am I supposed to react to this? And I'm just, why would they trust me with this information? And I'm like, okay, what will my mom do with this in this moment? I'll take a deep breath and then just react. As a kid, you don't have to believe me, man. But if we surrender to the moment, we know exactly what to do. Even Jesus of Nazareth stated, don't worry about what to say, what to do when you get there. When you get there, just fall into spirit. And in a sense, I'm paraphrasing now. I don't remember all of it, but after that, spirit, meaning the best way I could put it so you don't take offense to it is the Spirit of God, energy, His Spirit, Jesus of Nazareth's Spirit, whatever, a higher conscious, divine intervention will come into you and you will say what you need to say. And He always said too, don't go to the Gentiles, or I always misphrase it, but He said basically to go to the hard places, not to the easy places, not to where they don't need any money, where they don't need, no, to where go to the bars and go to all these places where people really are troubled. Go to the ghettos. This is just pineapple juice, by the way, and I've only been sipping on a tiny little bit of bourbon, and most of it is ice. I don't drink, man. I'm just trying to. That sounds a little weird. Trying to chill like a normal human here. I don't know why I would say that. And no, I'm nowhere near buzzed. I'm just having a chill time. Yeah. I need to put another call. So I think that's enough of a brainstorming, so you guys can get a little alternate perspective of one perception you can intake. Not mine. Like I said, I thought, like, what would my mother do? What would my father do? What would Bruce Lee do at this moment? What would Miyamoto Musashi do at this moment? What would Gandhi do? What would Jesus of Nazareth do? Every which way except for Jesus, because that dude is limited. And somehow, some way, it worked okay for me overall. Because in all reality, I truly am content. I am content with life. It's just, it's a little bit, no, not anymore, actually. Not anymore. It used to be a little bit nerve-wracking that my loved ones are not understanding energy well enough to where they suffer through the lack of abundance that they create themselves through the worrying. If you were a warrior with the WARRIO war, you'll be able to fight your inner demons with that inner child along with you. Be playful, be creative. We're only limited to creativity. Use that warrior spirit to muster up the courage and the bravery to work through old habits that seem to anchor you, and you know it, you just seem to ignore it. Find that warrior spirit to say, nope, I'm not going to ignore it anymore. And then find that inner child to find a creative way to have fun, to distract you away from that old habit so you can create a new one. And once you're just almost being careless, that doesn't mean go freaking speeding down the highway at 70. That's not having fun. You see what I'm saying? So just do that and you'll see. You'll get in higher vibration, and you'll start to attract opportunities that's going to help you create that crescent moon shape smile on your child, on whatever. Okay, but if you start thinking about how you're going to get the money to take them to Chuck E. Cheese or whatever, you're eventually only going to get only the money to take them to Chuck E. Cheese, and that's it. But if you're just over here not worrying, but just visualizing as you're multitasking through your daily job, because it should be kind of on autopilot now overall, and you're just visualizing yourself when you can do it, obviously, multitask. I don't know, you're pushing your child down a water slide that's on a huge cruise ship that's on its way to, I don't know, Alaska, out of all places. As odd as that may sound, but just say, hey, fuck, just do it. And you just picture that, and somehow, some way, before you know it, you'll get opportunities that'll come about and it'll be manifested before you. But something as silly as that, because you're wondering, like, man, that's kind of silly, but that would be cool to push my daughter, push my son off a water slide, and then have my wife, or vice versa, if you're a woman, have my husband catching my son or my daughter at the other end, and then we look over, and it's nothing but sea, and then all of a sudden we see some dolphins jumping around. Wouldn't that be beautiful? You worry about that, somehow, some way, it's going to be attracted and it's going to be a reality, and you're still going to live through working and grinding because that's on autopilot. Just don't even worry about it. Just go through the motions, and that's it. It's just like traffic. You get mad when someone cuts you off, you have no control over that. You get mad at that, guess what? You just poisoned yourself over that person's stupidity or impatientness. But if you're like, that guy cuts you off, and then you just, whatever, you look over, you see a child, and you just give it this funny face, and there you go. You just distracted yourself away from that negativity. You've seen another child smile, and then you're like, oh, you go back to your son or your daughter's smile. Now it's a different place now that you're picturing. Since you're going to Alaska on that cruise ship, now you're building an igloo, or it's already built and you're inside. You should go to these places, man, in Alaska, around Fairbanks and stuff like that, or in this time of year, oh my God, they make huge dwellings that you can go inside, and they put these cool lights, and you can, there's a grown-up section where you can go into like a bar with your friends, and it's all nothing but ice. You got to have some jackets and all that, but it is so cool. And then you come out and you look at the northern lights. Are you kidding me? They look like dragons, like real dragons, man. Think about this. Those are the things you should worry about. And then somehow it will come to life. That's what I mean about not understanding energy is freaky simple. As odd as that may sound, freaky simple to use to create the ideal reality that your unbiased desires require. Don't let that twist your thinking. Just perceive through the joy, and it will come to you. I think that I said more than enough. I don't know how long I've been going, but I'm going to chill a little longer, but there's no need for me to keep going. I mean, I can keep going, but I mean, I'm going to keep going and just chill. I mean, like I said, I'm on a work schedule, like I was saying. And now I'm going to, so if you think about it, so normally it's 24 hours, right, that most people go to. We'll add 12 to that, so 36. Now add 12 to that, 48. Overall, I've been going on a 48-hour cycle and take about 2 naps in between of 4 hours the most. And it's amazing how it preserves your sanity, for one. I know you're like, isn't it the other way around, since you don't rest your brain that much? No, people, look at Albert Einstein, Nikola Tesla, Leonardo da Vinci, so many amazing minds, masters of so many things, will only sleep like an hour to 2 the most per day. Again, day is 24 hours. So technically, they slept a little more than 2 hours in a 24-hour period. Just like me, I technically only sleep, if that, 4 hours in a 24-hour period. But you can't count it like that because I go in a lot longer. So it's hard to explain. When you start living multidimensionally, you be like, oh yeah, that's simple. Yeah, sometimes I freaking study while I'm asleep. There's no lie, man. Please look it up. Repetition will allow you to synaptically, internally, your neurotransmitters will be firing to the muscles of, say for instance, you're a soccer player and you're bouncing a ball with your knee, you're kicking it, you know, and then you pass it to a friend, or you're just doing it by yourself, just kicking it, boom, boom, you're hitting it with your head, boom, you hit it with the knee, boom, and you're just doing that over and over and over. In 20 minutes, you'll hit it at least 4,000 times. Well, if you do that close towards the end of the day and then you fall asleep, guess what? Since that's what you love the most and that's what you got lost most in throughout the day, when you're asleep, you're going to be doing those motions. Believe it or not. Look into it. Eventually, you will find that information. Many peer-reviewed studies from decades ago. Decades ago. So anyways, so that's another thing that most people don't know. And it's a fact. It's more than just osmosis. I think it's the word, osmosis, where you put the book under your pillow and you absorb the energy. I don't believe in that, but I've read a lot into it and I can see how it's very possible. But you might be thinking I'm crazy to believe the other one that I just mentioned, that if you just do a lot of repetition, you're actually training while you sleep. I actually believe in that because I've done it for so many years. And I was like, man, how is it that I'm getting faster in my reflexes and this and that? And then I started looking into it. Okay, mirror neurons, there's another one. The RAS, reticular accessing system. There's so many things, people. We need to learn just about the physical realm that affects the mental realm. Eventually, once you dig into the mental realm, like you have the physical realm, which no one really has, just eating good and sleeping well and being stress free, that's not enough. There's still a lot more to do in the physical realm. So anyways, and then we still have the emotional. No one really knows how to deal with their emotions properly. Hence why we have so many immature men. And that's why I'm trying to help assist that collective to get out of their machismo ways and embrace their feminine side in order to become a powerful, benevolent warrior of love and light. In the sense that a true warrior is always engaged in a life and death battle for peace. Think about it. A warrior only exists for peace. So if you want peace, there has to be a certain type of warrior. Doesn't mean you have to go bombard other countries and stuff like that, though. There's other ways of being a warrior, meaning a warrior that protects Mother Earth. But those are the warriors that were degraded throughout history, our ancestors, the indigenous. And those are the ones that they call savages. Yes, sometimes they had to fight against each other for family quarrels and this and that, stuff like that. Yeah, but overall, no. How is it that 100,000 disseminated 23 million? It's impossible because everybody came in peace, except for those. Hey, you get offended, oh well, turn off. And I'm full American, and I'm proud of it, but not the way most of you perceive Americans to be. All right. And actually, even though I'm mainly Mexican blooded, whatever that means, I'm neither of that now. I'm human. You and I are equal. The farmer and the doctor are equal. The farmer needs the doctor to keep going. Well, the doctor needs the food of the farmer to keep going. It's the same, reciprocal. No one's more important than the other. But yet, everybody seems to fall into complacency to accept that. That's not cool. I think I said more than enough. There's been one viewer. I'm sorry if you were getting some type of entertainment from my weird talking, but yeah, I think I said enough. I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy myself and meditate. Before I sign off, let's do a little bit of silence. Aside from the sound you might hear in the background, hopefully it's not too loud. I really hope it's not too loud because I didn't get a chance to check that. But let's have a moment of silence for all those who may be suffering out of means that are out of their control, okay? And just throw it out to the collective and just, again, visualize with your inner eyes the paradise that you wish they were in, okay? Again, just smiling, simple shapes. Because all shapes, all intentions, all thoughts, all visualizations, all information, all energy has magnetism. Every single thought has magnetism. You have a lot of power. Let's heal some people, all right? So let's get a little bit of silence, at least 1 minute. I recommend you take a deep breath into your nose, hold it for a few seconds, and then release it nice and slowly out your mouth, and continue doing so at your own pace with breathing in again, holding it for a few seconds, and releasing it when you feel like. Cease the silence, the sound. All right, so even if you tried that for a few seconds, past 17, 7, you actually started the transcendental state. Once you reach 7-0, that's when you reach the transmutational state. Thus then, that's 2. And then you have your conscious state, that's triangulation once again. So perceive through all senses, 5 musical notes. You guys didn't get it, I guess. But mix all those senses up, then you get peripheries, and then you can perceive through those as well. That's where you start tapping into fractal. So there's many ways to perceive life, not just the physical. Don't forget about the mental, spiritual, emotional. Then we got metaphysical, radiance, all kinds of other ones. But there's no need to get into the other ones. So something as simple as clenching your teeth just very, very slightly. And I mean, doesn't matter what sound you make. You just make it feel pleasant to yourself. And guess what? You're going to be healing because that vibration you feel through your chest cavity, rib cage, all that good stuff. And then especially through your teeth, you'll feel that actual vibration going through your skull, through your ears, through your eardrums, in and out. There's all those canals, and then it goes into the meridian lines and all of these other places, and you start shaking those other forms of somewhat of a meridian lines, which then what happens when you shake a baby? And I don't mean like violently, people. Come on, man. I'm talking about like tap, tap, tap after they had a drink. After they fed, the breastfed. Hey, they have to burp, right? So the same thing happens with you with the try it. Next time you stub your toe, just instead of screaming, just clench your teeth. Instead of yelling out loud, clench your teeth, and you're gonna say, "Whoa, this feels good actually." And you'll distract yourself away from that pain. So imagine that, amplifying that times 20,003. So triangulation, 3 is the key. When you do that triangulation, 4th comes 4th. Just like the doubling effect, where there's 2 or more within my name, there I am amongst them, because there's a 3rd entity that arises. Once you integrate the 3rd, the integration of that tripleization or triangulation, you make a 4th entity. Meaning you start stepping into the spiritual. After that, then you go to the emotional. And once you get those, it becomes a metaphysical. So it's like that. It really is. It's amazing how that works. Okay. But that was the moment of silence, really short one. Again, just want to remind you that, say for instance, if my city only had 1 million people, the square root of 1% of that million will create a shift in the collective in its entirety with only that square root of 1%, which means what? Only 100 people. With 100 people meditating, praying, whatever you want to refer to it as, for one cause, it does affect it in the physical material realm. And that's without us doing anything physically, just us doing things metaphysically, meaning emotionally, spiritually, mentally, because we're visualizing abundance and joy. So remember that for 1 million, all we need is 100, and we all get affected. And like if it was me and one other person, our energies get amplify, and we can affect a lot more people without even having contact with them. It's just we become beacons of light, and it keeps happening like that. That's why children are so healing. They're so the way they distract you. Uh, they heal you, but they're little energy balls, that have no judgment, unconditionally biased, unconditionally loving, have no biases. All right, and that's the key. Just like Jesus of Nazareth states, in order to enter the kingdom of heaven, we must become as children. Perceive like a child. Don't function like a child. Let a child be a child, yes, but don't treat him like a baby. Treat him like a little human. Love you. One love, one light. For together our light will shine much brighter. And don't forget, you're only limited to your creativity. Pain is temporary, pride is eternal, fulfillment lasts forever. The fight will be worth it. And if you don't know how to fight, I will teach you how to fight in many different ways. I don't mean only like this. All right, there's other ways, like the Maori do. And no, I'm not throwing elbows. I'm gathering up the mana. Peace.